What up? Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, A.D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. I appreciate you guys for being here, being a part of all that we do, rocking, don't stopping. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Also, excuse me, I got the burpsies or something. Blessings, Lisa. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always being a part. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Make sure you tag. Let everybody know that the Brothers of Legacy are in the building. We're going to have a wonderful show today. We're discussing changing your circle, changing your network, changing the people that are around you, upgrading. And like I said, and I always stress, I'm not part of the cutoff ministry where we are just cutting people off because they don't agree with us or they're not who we want them to be, or they may be negative Nancy's and things of that nature. Hey, Mama McCoy, great morning to you. Yes, indeed. Yes, Miss Kathy. It is Thursday. Happy Thursday to everybody. Thankful Thursday or Thirsty Thursday, depending on the kind of Thursday you're trying to have. So I want to welcome you guys and thank you for always supporting, always being here, always being a part of these conversations. Like I said, the Brothers of Legacy, we don't stand out, we stand up, and we're all about changing our community one conversation at a time. And it's important that we kind of have this conversation about shifting your circle, shifting the environment around you in order to be better, and we always discuss, if you follow us enough, you realize we talk about the external as well as the internal changes that need to take place. And a lot of times you're right, sometimes you change your external, it helps with your internal because, it's more challenging to become better or to better yourself when your environment changes, when the people around you are more encouraging or offering a more positive aspect in life. What's up, Richard? Good morning. So, like I said, today that's what we're discussing. Real quick, I'm trying to bust some news out sometimes, but I get it, but I don't get enough of it. But it's just a snippet of something I saw this morning. Biden signed the post office reform bill. For some time, I know the post office was in a crunch because they were forced to make sure they were able to fund the post office for 75 years. I don't know what the plan was. Some say it was an attempt to shut down the post office or to completely privatize the post office. Because from what I know and the education I've been getting about the post office, for several years, I've been kind of like in and out studying like how the post office works as far as financially. The government does not fund the post office. I think they regulate the post office because it is a federal entity, but they do not fund the post office. They only set the rules and provide, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like protections to the post office, as opposed to like the average business. So they do not fund the post office. And the post office obviously has been doing good, but once that bill got smacked on them, having to have funds for 75 years, I can't imagine, what they're playing, and they probably had it. So now it puts a squeeze on all the local post offices. So if your mail has been coming late, they've been lacking employees. It's been a struggle. But this bill, I guess, is supposed to either lift that ban and provide some other things. Now it's the other things that I'm curious about. I've been researching that part. Like, what other things have they slid in on the post office? Because always, hey, we're taking away this, but you got to deal with this. And I'm wondering how this change will affect the post office and Amazon's relationship. Because as you know, with the relationship with Amazon, they've been delivering on Sundays. If one of the things I've heard touted is now they're going back to the 6-day structure, which means Sundays will be off limits again, which means I don't know what that means for the Amazon relationship. I remember hearing Trump talk about how Amazon is kind of undercutting the post office, with pricing and things of that nature. So maybe the bill is covering that as well, as far as pricing and how much of a discount they may have been getting. Something to consider. Just a little tidbit, a little news right there, because we talk about things that affect you locally. We talk about things that is going to affect your life. We don't rely on the post office as much as we used to, but every once in a while, no one can, can't say, at least maybe once or twice a year, there's something in the mail that's coming from the USPS that you're looking forward to getting. There's always something that you're looking forward to getting. So definitely watch out for that. So if you see your post office service change just slightly, this is what's going on. Hopefully for the better. Hopefully the post office people get compensated or covered, and we get back to like a normal running service. Because we get our our mail like late, probably like 6, I think 5, 6 sometimes. So we'll see what happens. And again, I want to tell you guys, I appreciate you guys for being here, being a part of the Brothers of Legacy, the BOL family. You could be anywhere, but you're rocking with us. Make sure also that you're part of our text community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Never miss a broadcast, anything happening on the Legacy Walker Network. And if you're in the building, be sure to share it though. I know, just share. Share that text message. Share this broadcast on any and all your social media platforms, in your inboxes, the messenger, all that, and then some. Let me ask you a question. This is weird, all right? All my people that's watching right now, chime in. Just one question. I need an opinion. All right. So the way I got this set up, right? I got my camera here and I got my monitor here. Does it bother you if I'm not looking at you? That's my question today. Does it bother you? Like right now, I'm looking at the monitor because it's programmed. Because normally, like on my other computer, like because the camera's there and mine is here. Like if I pull back enough, I could look at literally like both. I can see what's happening on the monitor and I can look at the camera, and my adjustment is small. But here, it's huge, like bam, bam. So I know it's silly, I know it's small, but let me know what you guys feel. Does it bother you if I'm not looking directly into your soul? Let me know. I'm curious. Let's see. See. Okay. Deborah says no because I'm working and listening. Okay, so she's not really watching me anyway, so she's just hearing what I'm saying. Hear the words coming out of my mouth. Appreciate you. Lisa says no. All right. Cool. Anybody else? Just chime in. Be honest. Let me know. Like, I'd rather you look at me, or it don't make no difference. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and kick this off. Again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part. All right, we'll be right back after this. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. Right. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is covenant.
The whole thing is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this journey possible, often invested in the business.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
All right. Welcome back. Let's see. I said, wish they open up the UK postal market so Royal Mail delivers mail and UPS and DHL could service just letter service. Oh, I guess, they closed it down. I'm curious about that one. All right. So today we're talking about the truth about upgrading your circle. The truth about upgrading your circle. So I'm going to talk from a lot of personal experience and some of the things I've realized in my journey of growth and development and things I've discovered. And honestly, I would say within the last 5 years, this is, the time prior was a lot of kind of searching, and not really understanding, desiring to grow, and wanting to have more of a collective, I guess, team or connection with others, but never recognizing how to do that or how to make that happen. So today we're going to talk about the ways to upgrade your circle, as well as how to maintain that and what it takes, right? Because there's a misconception, right? So people, you're the sum total of they say the 5 people around you, right? You're the sum total of the 5 people that you hang around the most. And a lot of times, people realize maybe who they're connected to, or they're not really connected to many, but they I want to be around like-minded people, so that they'll push or help me and to get better. And I think, that's initially the goal. I want to get better. I want to be better than I am now. Every year, I want to be stronger. I want to be more confident. I want to be in a space that I wasn't in last year. And I think, that's the allure of going into a new year. When the clock strikes 12 and you're going from 2021 to 2022, or whether it's 1998 to 1999, going into the next year or the next dimension in your life. It's always an exciting time, and we want our next year to be better than our last year. We want to be able to check things off. I've learned this, I've grown here, I've discovered this, I've figured this out, and we want to grow. And sometimes in life, we can go through years of wanting, feel like I'm wanting the same things over and over going into the next year, and wanting the same thing. Man, I have not accomplished that thing. I got you. So Mama Cora says, sorry, I could not answer. I was driving. Yes, do your driving. No texting and driving. Hearing is more important to me. Awesome. That's good. And listen, my podcast people, because I know you guys don't come in until after the intro. So hearing, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you share as well. and rate and review. Do that. So it's incredibly important that that you change your environment. It's incredibly important that you change the habits within yourself. And a lot of times we talk about the habits, the things we need to change internally. So today I want to talk about the things you can change externally. And Pastor was here, pull out the Bible, counting up the cost. What's the cost of changing things externally? What's the cost? What does it take to make the difference in your life in order to be better rolling into next year? And I'm talking right now, like, what are your goals, or what do you want to improve on going into next year? What is it that you want to change in your life going into next year? And it does start with being able to connect with those that are, at best, are already where you want to be. At worst, pushing the same direction that you are. And what does it take to build or to join or to be a part of a circle of brothers or ladies and sisters to get you to that space that you want to see better in your life, right? What is it going to take, right? So I got my board up there. My wife was like, "Oh, there you go with the board. One day I'm gonna have the board. We're gonna do some writing." We're gonna do. I'm gonna do it that way. But what does it take? So the first thing, I put like pros and cons. I put the cons, but with a question mark, because it's not really a con. It's just what you get out of it, and then what you have to give, right? Because in a group, in a circle, for growth to happen, there's, not really just growth, but for growth to happen and a connection to happen, there's a giving and taking. There's a giving and taking, right? So I guess it wouldn't be pros and cons. It'd be the give, it'd be the takeaways and the giving. Takeaways and the giving, right? So one of the gives, Professor Walker, right? I know, at least I would love to though. Like, I want to do the whiteboard. My handwriting isn't always the best, and my wife trips out because I don't spell things all the way out. Like, I might miss a letter or whatever, but I know what it says because it's just me. It drives her crazy because it's written up on the board. I'm like, I know what it says. Like, so, Richard says, I think 5 people think thing is out of date because you could say the sum of 10 or 25 or even 35 people, quality people, mentors, entrepreneurs, experts, and advisors, most applicable these days. What I will say to that, Richard, is I say, for the most part, how much exposure consistently people around you are you exposed to that you have conversations with? You understand what I'm saying? How many people are you actually exposed to that you have consistent conversations with? I would say for me, it's about 5. It's about 5 or 6. Well, yeah, about 5 or 6 that consistently on a weekly basis that I have some level of conversation, consistent conversation with, that I'm connected to. So that's what I mean by that. Like, you can have a plethora of people that you talk to, or maybe watch on YouTube or whatever, but I'm talking about direct connection. And I'll just say, for my life and a lot of people that I know, it's always up for debate. But for this instance, just kind of the 5 or 6 that are around you, right? So what am I talking about? Let's talk about what are the takeaways and what are the gives, right? So one of the takeaways that you get from changing a lot of your connections is exposure. So I've been blessed to be with Dr. Rollins and be a part of her father initiatives going on, and it's given me exposure to an educational base and research base of fatherhood and other men and things of that nature, which has helped expand part of my network. It also, which with exposure, has given me access to certain things. So it definitely gives you exposure, and it gives you access, and opportunities. So that's one of the biggest things that you can take away when you upgrade your group. Because if you have a genuine connection, you'll get invited certain places. You'll be in spots that you couldn't have got there in the career that you're in or the jobs that you're in. It's only comes from being networked to the right people. And these are close exposures. These are close connections that you're getting. Some of the gives are, one, accountability, right? Your ability to be corrected on the things that you do. Sometimes you could be connected to someone and they are exposed to great spaces that can help you, like monetarily, career-wise, can be a come up, but you're not in a space to handle that area with maturity, if that makes sense. Some places you got to have tough skin. Like, listen, these folks don't play. They're hard, So I'm going to give it to you tough right now so that you can shift your mindset, hold yourself accountable, be consistent. Like if your thing is late all the time, like, dude, you can't be late. You got to find a way to deal with that. Like, it's not cute. It's not fine. And it's going to hurt you, And this is your connection. This is your leveling up. So you're connecting with someone that's trying to be honest with you, right? Skin like crocodile, right? They're trying to be honest with you and tell you the truth about who you are. Like, you are, you are your biggest hindrance. That's tough to hear. But if you really want to change, you really want to be a part of these circles that's going to help you grow, you got to accept, you got to hear what people are saying to you, especially if it's consistent. Because 9 times out of 10, they're gut punching you, but you've been hearing this for a while. Like, yo, you got to stop being this way. You got to start, let's just talk about being on time. Yo, you got to be on time, man. Like, what they say, you got to go through the mindset of being on time is late. Being early is being on time, and you got to get them to that place. Because I'm like, they're like, yo, I can't invite you somewhere or put my name out there for you to be a part of something. You got the mindset, you're smart enough, you're skilled enough, but you can't be late. Like, no one likes anyone late, right? He said, but they can also be wrong too. They can, but 9 times out of 10, if they're pulling you into a space that they're operating in, they're telling you the truth about how this space operates. Like, late, there's no arguing late. There's no arguing late. So I hear what you're saying, Richard, but there's no arguing late. There's not. No one likes anyone to be late on stuff. People, there are certain qualities, like, and I've heard it, and I've said it myself, when it comes to like hiring somebody, like, or hiring to them to do a job. Like, I'd rather have someone with integrity, that's on time and willing to do the work, that lacks the skill that I can just teach them. They at least have the basics of ethic to make it happen, as opposed to someone who's skilled but lacks the ethic. Because we know folks like that. They got the skill, but they lack the ethics. Like, hey, you know someone? Yeah, I know someone. They're exceptional, but they're not going to be on time. They whatever date they tell you, whatever date you give them a shorter date, so they'll prioritize you. Right, 0 to 20 minutes early for an appointment. Right. Because we all know people, like, if you work somewhere like that's decent and you like, they ask you, somebody that would like to work, and you're thinking like, man, I'd like to put them up, but I know I've seen their track record. I've known them long, and they suck when it comes to certain things. That's going to be a requirement. That's going to get them fired, So it's hard to recommend. So you want to upgrade your circle. Accountability. You got to be accountable. It's having those tough discussions of what's your ceiling. What's keeping you from becoming better? What's keeping you from becoming greater? You're building your circle. You have that personal connection. And we talked about earlier this week, the triggers. Like, anytime somebody says this, you fly off the handle. You got to work on that. I get it. I understand the history of these conversations that send you there. But it could be politics, it could be something. It's like, you're always going to have these conversations and you can't fly off the handle. You got to find a way to process this thing and have a decent conversation. I can't, so it definitely matters, your accountability, and being able to hear what the people around you are saying when you're trying to get into a new space or trying to grow. And it's not the nitpicky thing. Trust me, like people like, you're a great person, but you keep doing this. And these things are, you talk to me about trying to move into this space or grow here, but you are holding yourself back because you have these bad habits. You're not consistent. People see that, these foundational things, man, you're not consistent. Like you start, you do good for about a couple of weeks, and then I ask you, how's this going? Then you stop. You're not consistent. You're always quitting, always going to the new things, always shifting. And that was me. Like real talk. See, I'm telling you about myself. Like that consistency thing, I struggled. And like I said, I've been on this journey for like 5 years. And consistency was like my first goal. Like, boom, I'm going to do this no matter what. I can stay in the game no matter what. I'm going to stay on top of this thing. I'm going to push this thing. I'm going to make it happen. And it helped. And I just kept going. And I kept going. What up, Michael? Great morning. Thank you, Mama McCory. So yeah, you gotta, and I'm gonna say that like gotta. when you're in a circle of folks or you're connected to people that will hold you accountable for what you do, your actions and the things that you have, that's the first step. That is the first step to growth, right? And every time you come in a circle, hey, how's this going? Man, I struggle. It doesn't mean like, say, just making it simple. Like I start Brothers of Legacy. I get in the group like, yeah, I got this thing. How long you been doing it? Man, I'm in there 2 weeks. All right, good job. And I'm honest about my trigger. My trigger is I get frustrated, something happens, and I throw everything away. I just stop. And that's real. That's real. And so if someone's like, okay, boom, let's try to push through it. Don't let issues or situations stop you from your purpose. Don't let situations or people stop you from getting to your goals. So that's, like I got my group like, yeah, we got this. Let's pray. Let's do this thing. And then, 4 weeks from now, how's it going? Oh, I was mad last night. Got into a fight with the wife. Or got into it with a friend. And boom, boom, boom. And it got to me. And I ain't go on this morning. Come on, Chief. And get the you want to be, you want to have, you got to do. That's it. And you can apply that to a lot of stuff. You want to be, you want to have, you got to do. Right? AD, I've been doing my thing 5 years. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome, Mike. He said, I've been doing my thing 5 years. It must have been that time. That shift, that season. You ever say preachers, it's your season. We got that same message, brother. And getting into that space, being held accountable, like, yeah, I got you. I feel you, man. I'm not. And they asked me like tomorrow, yeah, I got it. I was on it. Then 4 weeks, man, I got into it, but I came on. It was hard because my mind wasn't 100% in it, but I came on. And we have to have someone that's going to hold you accountable, especially to the things that you say, the things that you want, and where you want to go. He said, it's a journey. Excuse me. Mike said, let me get this mouse. It's been a journey, but I believe I am called to do why I go to church. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. You just got to keep going, man. You got to have that consistency, and you can't let outside influence stop you from going after your purpose. Real talk. That's for everybody. Can't let outside influence stop you from your person, or let those triggers keep you down. So we got the accountability, right? We got the accountability. And we talked about some of the gives was the access. Good morning, Cheryl. Blessings to you. We talked about exposure. We talked about access. We talked about opportunity. These are the takeaways. This is the dope part of joining the circle. Now, some of the gives, he said, humility, courage, integrity, civility, and kindness, definitely politeness. Some of the gifts are actively keeping connections fresh. Actively keeping connections fresh. What do I mean by that? So, for me, it's about me today. It's staying in contact with my circle. Staying in contact with my circle, actively talking to them, seeing how they're doing, checking out, making sure they're good, being and actively keeping connections, being available for your crew, being available for your circle. Now, it doesn't mean like once they call, you drop everything and you run to them, but you follow up. Like, I'm telling myself, let's see, what people don't realize is that, Mike says, what people don't realize is that your enemy sends people to everybody in the circle is not in your corner. No. And let me stay on track, but we're going to get to the Judases that have position as well, and shout out to Elder Michael McNair, because he was the first one we kind of had that the purpose of Judas conversation. So, which is why we don't do the cutoff ministry. But let me continue on. All right, so you got the keeping connections fresh, connecting with your people and those that are around you, and making sure that they're good, as well as you're available. Because you can't just take, because that's the mindset. And that's where I was at. I just need to get in the group so I can get what I need. I need to get in the group and get what I need. I want to take. Always taking, always getting, but never giving. Like, what time are you giving? Who are you calling to make sure they're good? Who are you connecting with and advising them on situations or things you've been through? So it's got to be a give and a take. A give and a take. I feel you, Cheryl. So Cheryl says, that's where the spirit check is necessary. Know your enemies, no matter proximity. Now, it's probably a long one today. I will say, you don't have as many enemies as you think you have. You don't have as many enemies as you think you have. I'm going to say it one more time. You don't have as many enemies that you think you have. So we're going to get into that, though, because someone going to put another comment. So it's accountability, keeping connections fresh, the giving and the taking, and having available, opportunity to help somebody, to be there. Right. See, exactly. And that's deep right there. See, most of it is self-centered, and you got to go into it with, I want to be better, but I want to help as well. I want to like build some semblance of or level of friendship with the folks that I'm around. And it's taking the ability, taking yourself out, putting yourself in, and what can I add? Mike says, I would 100% agree with you. Not greatest enemy is my enemy, right? Yes, indeed. Taking compromise, yeah, definitely. And it's just, and honestly, like, it's so funny, Richard, that you use the word compromise. I think it's just, it has to be part of your nature if you really want to grow. There's got to be a level of giving. Some people, and what I've noticed, and I could slightly be wrong, but some people I've noticed, like, they can become successful in a space, but their growth gets capped off because they're not willing to give or get into a space where giving and taking happens. Because by yourself you can do some amazing things and people take notice and you blow up and you grow, and people have paid team members and people around them that are just there to do a particular job that supports what I do, and they're doing a job, getting paid or whatever to support what I do. But it's different to be around someone that can check you on who you are and what you're doing, that can be the necessary shoulder that you may need to cry on to or vent to, that you can be a part of something that can help you become better, that can call out your nonsense, because that's the main thing, just calling out some of the things like, man, you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have done that, because this is what you made them feel like, this is why they disconnected from you, and being willing to, like I said, actively keep connections fresh. Check in with people, check in with those, even if you don't need anything, check in with them. So that's the first. All right, so we got the accountability, we got the actively keeping connections fresh. So let's talk about those that don't seem like they are what you would call a fit, right? And they may be, sometimes there's seasons and relationships change, because I've had several of those. Our relationship was like this, then like this, then like this, but there's still a bridge. You understand what I'm saying? We're still connected. Like, my phone line's still there. I talk to them. We text. We keep connection. Because one of the things that I did wrong was I would cut people off. I would stop talking to them, and for just little stuff, like, because we stopped talking, I ain't fooling with them no more. But what I realized, everybody, even if it's just for a moment, for an idea, people are a bridge to someone else. People are a doorway to someone else you really need to connect to. Now, understand, I'm not saying use anybody. Have a genuine relationship with people and be real about where you're at. But don't be so quick to cut folk off. Like I said, Judas had a plan. Judas played a role. He did exactly what God already knew he was going to do. He played his role. He was at the dinner table. He was like, yo, the dude handing me the bread is the one that's going to betray me. Even the disciples like, what? Not my man Juju. So he knew. But he ain't tripped, because he knew there was a plan in play. And we got to understand that, not that we actively are, once we know someone has betrayed us, that we just continue on like everything's good. He said, I know you're going to betray me, but we got to get this contract done, but I'm going to watch my back. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's a skill in Judas that was needed. There's a skill in your Judas that's needed to get things done. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. We're attacking the same things. So we can't get so caught up in having friendships that, everybody's got to be my friend for us to accomplish this thing. Right. What has right. We can't stop what has a purpose. Right. And we have to understand that sometimes you got to work with those that ain't really feeling you. They ain't your enemy. Y'all just don't get along. Let's just, can we be real? No matter how nice I am, I don't get along with everybody. You know, like some people I don't vibe with. Some people just don't like me for whatever reason. Don't like things that I say or how I carry myself. They're not my enemy. We don't jive like that. But we could be going in the same direction. Let's see. Mike says, absolutely, Judas had a role. Maturity and wisdom gives you understanding on how to handle them. Boom. Maturity, wisdom gives you understanding on how to handle them. You're right. Even your family. Right. Listen, it's crazy because and you see, and I've seen the post so many times, like basically don't trip. Your biggest supporters will not be your family. It'll be people on the outside. And for the most part, if you hear a lot of people, even folks that have huge Instagram or social media, or even stars, they, or done products, they always say the last people, that started getting my service or coming to me was my family. I had to like blow up your weight all over the place before my family. But, Jesus went in the healed. He wasn't welcome in his own home. Like he didn't do as much work as he should have because his own fam didn't believe. So definitely it's, you have to know who you work in. Know those, the Bible said know those that labor among you. But I challenge you to read that whole scripture because then it talks about having patience for those and their attitudes and who they are and what they do. You gotta have patience. That's in that part of one of the fruit of the spirit. You gotta have patience. Long suffering. I hate that word. Long suffering. Let's see. That's a good one. Richard said, be the architect of the new level of person you want to be. Design how that would look like. Work on hone your skills right. Learn new skills. Therapy group of enablers. A coach that helps you get there. Indeed. Mike says, I have family that I love, but we shouldn't sit at the same table. I only can hear them speak from my tip. Indeed, Mike. Indeed. Right. The model was demonstrated way back then. Right. Mike, that one. Like, what? What? Where you been at? Yeah, so yeah, I know. I feel you, Mike. But yeah, so definitely growing your circle, it takes a level, like I said, of giving and taking. So that's the mindset you have to go into it. You connect with somebody like-minded, and like-minded-ish. Because it may not be everything, but at least if it's the direction that you're trying to go or get to, then it's a start. And that is the key to really growing and becoming better. Like at first it starts internally in figuring out, one, what are my triggers that keep me from being consistent, or why I'm late, or certain things that frustrate me, that keeps me pushing, understanding that, and then connecting with those that can hold you accountable, and actively open to finding that. If anything, that's my last point. Actively open to finding a group or crew that can really hold you personally accountable. And I want to use the word personal because sometimes, if you're in a group that's too big, like I know Richard, part of a lot of different groups, masterminds and things of that nature. But if you really have like personal connections with certain folk that can hold you personally accountable, that really knows your life, really knows you, knows your wife, knows your situations, and can hold you accountable for some of the things that you do, it'll definitely, 10x the time it takes for you to become better. Because now you have someone that's really holding your feet to the fire, on some of the nonsense or things that you do, or some of your ways. And sometimes like you might not be that bad, but you just have to make certain shifts because you keep messing up opportunities. controlling your schedule or following up, being honest about certain things. We've got to get into a space where, especially as men, this is to my brothers, to be transparent with each other, to be honest about how we feel about ourselves and what we are going through and things that I might require or looking to do. Because we get, the thing is, like, my filter, or the thing that kept me from really connecting, was one, I felt like, sports was the only thing that men usually, brothers connect with. And like you've heard 1,000 times from before, I'm not into sports. So having that surface level connection was challenging. But I've found that men want to talk about stuff they're going through, stuff that frustrates them. Like, oh man, I just got to get this off my chest, because if you're holding down your household and you're really leading, there's a huge weight on you. There's a huge responsibility of whatever happens, it's up to me. So I have to make sure that I'm in line with what God wants me to do. I'm listening. I'm paying attention to what's happening in my family, and I'm making sure I'm providing. All the others. I'm compassionate. I'm empathetic. I'm stoic as well. So it's a lot when you really step up as a man to take care of your household, and having that connection is huge. Richard said music, food, education. Yeah, Rich, I hear you. I hear you. Certain environments call for that. But, yeah, like, have conversation. Like, most times, if you step next to, like, most men's circle, sports is like the looming thing, because it's usually on the news. It's an easy conversation to have as well, because we can argue, but it's not political, it's not emotional. Other than, my brother's a quarterback on one of the teams and you're talking about him. Like, that's about it. That's the only time it could probably get personal, but outside of that, it's the easiest conversation ever to have and to disagree without a problem. Without it ever really getting ugly. But yeah, so it's imperative, like, finding a group, connecting with others. We're here. The Brothers of Legacy is here. So we're here to shape some lives and do some amazing things. I've been working on some bigger connections. And what you mean, not bigger like as far as people, but just making sure I'm staying connected with, especially those in my locale, those that are connected with the brothers, as well as connected with Purposeful Forever. Just to make sure we're all good. We're all good. And trust, I vent. He said, Anthony, bring out the rapper. I will bring out the rapper in you. So yeah, making sure that our connections are stronger, that, my goal is don't disappear. Don't disappear. Like, stay connected. Don't disappear. Life is going to happen, and you may not have the level of connection that you had, but don't disappear. Even if you text, I'm good, it's just rough, I'm going through, I get it. Sometimes you don't want to talk. I've been there. I go there. Try not to stay there. But sometimes you want to be just in your head. I need to go in my head cave for a minute, and then I'll come out and we'll talk. Just don't stay there. And there's never any judgment, because we all go through something. Never any judgment, because we all go through something. Never any judgment, because we all go through. No one's life is perfect. No one's life is just always rosy. It's always in ups and downs, ebbs and flows. And sometimes you just need somebody to lean on, to be like, yo, you good? I need to vent. Just having a bad day. I need to vent. No judgment. I already know what I need to do. Because sometimes you know what you need to do, but I need to say it out loud. All right. So listen, I appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Stay connected to the Brothers of Legacy, working on some personal groups and things of that nature. And it's we're building something here. If you're a brother, make sure you stay connected, because we're doing some amazing things with the Brothers of Legacy. And, my goal is to at least change the country, when it comes to my brothers. Rich, we'll let you hold it down internationally. Appreciate you though for being here. To have that personal connection, because one of the things, as leaders in our households, we don't want to lose our communities because of our frustrations. We don't want to lose our communities because we get triggered and we fall into a negative space. So we have to protect our minds, protect what we see, protect what we listen to. So that's what we're here to help encourage you, help you grow, help you become better. All right. So again, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always being a part. Again, make sure you share this conversation, because I know people are always looking to upgrade their circle and become better. And this is your chance to kind of learn what it takes. Told you 5 years, a lot of shifting, a lot of purging, a lot of uncomfortableness. It's kind of like I've become comfortable with being uncomfortable. When I get too comfortable, I know it's time for a shift. So appreciate you. Tomorrow is Friday. Look forward to seeing you guys. Freestyle Friday. We'll see what we're going to do. Again, know that we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe. Continue to do the right thing. I think that's it. That's all. Listen, connect. Connect with me. I know Richard, he always shouts. He always in the inbox. Listen, my brothers, if you need something, need me, holla at me. And we'll talk soon. Continue to stay safe. Connect. Join our community. Text LW into 84576. Text LW into 84576 and never miss a broadcast. All right. Again, we look forward to seeing you. Same time, same channel. And that's it. All right. Let's go and get out of here. Appreciate you. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being. Make sure you're sharing is caring. All of my replay people.